also on cell phone forensics, we have the capability to extract all the data that's on a cell phone. Whether it's internal memory or on a SIM card, all that information is accessible, and I don't care whether you've deleted it or not, it still remains in that cell phone. Law enforcement is extremely adept at doing this with a court order. Under a civil situation, we don't need a court order. You just give us the cell phone for about 2 hours. We extract all the information and give it back to you. And that information is extremely valuable in a lot of situations. Another thing about cell phones is that it can either support your alibi or put you in jail. If somebody was accused of a crime, and the crime was committed, let's say, in Broderton, and that person said that they were downtown in the second floor of the Conrad, then law enforcement or court order under a civil litigation, we can access the data that's maintained and archived by the carrier, the cell phone carrier, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whatever. And that goes back, depending on the carrier, normally 30 to 90 days. Most of them are at least 60 days. And so everywhere your cell phone goes, even if you're not using it, it's just in your pocket, it is communicating with the cell phone towers. And it's called cell phone tower triangulation. So as you're walking down the street or driving down Meridian Street, it's going through the different tower structures. And there's usually 5 or 6 towers that it's communicating with. And the tower that has the closest direction and the highest signal strength is the tower that the cell phone carrier will direct the call to that phone. And so they can triangulate down to 50 or 60 meters where that cell phone is 24/7 for 30 to 90 days. So that information is extremely valuable, and it could be used in a civil situation. Example, spouse is claiming that they're not going to a bar or a liquor store to purchase or to drink booze. And so that information would be accessible. And it could be, it's admissible, and we know of a number of cases where it has been used for that. Now, private investigators for years have been using vehicle tracking devices. When I first got into business in 1970, the technology was called a bumper beeper. It was pretty crude and amateurish, but that was the only thing around. So unbelievable technology changes, and everybody probably has a GPS in their car now. You got North Star on your General Motors car, that's got GPS. You can buy a GPS at the Walmart now for 75 bucks. It's pretty good. Private investigators use them all the time for all kinds of different situations because it's hard to follow somebody. It's not like it is on TV. You never lose them. You never get blown off at a light, or they don't pull in front of you. With a GPS, you can always find them. Now we got to be extremely careful with GPS because we will only use it if they're still cohabitating, and if one, obviously the client gives us permission to do it. And in most cases, we'll have the client install the GPS on the car themselves. If they're not cohabitating, if they're separated or whatever, we don't want to touch it. It's not illegal, but it could be. We don't want to get involved in anything like that. Now, covert video equipment. We've been using this for a long time, and I'm a gadget guy. We just love new gadgets. In fact, we've got about 9 different ways we can hide a TV camera and microphone on one of our investigators. So when we're interviewing or trying to document something, we can usually get video with that. We've got it in buttons, glasses, pens, watches, the ear, Bluetooth. Guess what? I'm recording everybody right now, and actually I'm recording myself. I'm recording the audience. And after I get back to my office, we'll download this, and we'll set up a YouTube account. And if you would be so kind as to give me the emails of everybody, I'll email the YouTube video of my hot air here. And you can show anybody else in your firm or any associates or paralegals the technology of this and all my hot air. So body-worn video and audio recording equipment is unbelievable now. Also, you may have clients who believe that the spouse is engaging in something that they shouldn't be doing inside the marital residence. We have about 11 different types of appliances, clocks, air purifiers, radios, alarm clocks, anything that you plug into an outlet. Kleenex boxes, we even have those. We even have a rock, looks like a boulder that would go in a garden. It has a hidden motion-activated video camera built into it. Now, all these are video. There's no audio involved because audio would be illegal. But it has time and date. It's high-definition video. It's extremely high-quality video. It all writes to an SD card, a micro SD card, so you can barely even see it. And you just pull that out, download it. It's Windows-based, and you can get just fantastic video of whatever activity happened. That would be involved in extramarital affairs, abuse of children, drug usage. We had a client that had it installed in a garage where her husband was bringing in pot after hours and selling them in the garage. And so it worked perfectly. It was a clock that was, it looked like it was disengaged. We even have one in a transformer that you plug into an outlet. And they, if you can find an outlet high enough, you just plug it in there and it's motion activated. So the technology on that is just unbelievable. Now, I mentioned a little earlier, we sent a sweep team out to California to do that sweep. You'd be surprised how many spouses will buy bugging equipment over the internet, believing that it's okay. We've even had a few attorneys that have recommended that to their clients. And a lot of those situations, they refer to a case that happened over 20 years ago. It's called, I think it's Hop versus Hop. And it was a physician down in Evansville who recorded his wife's conversations and then had them introduced as evidence on a custody dispute. The court admitted it, and then they actually awarded the children to the doctor. And when he walked out into the lobby of the courtroom, the FBI arrested him. So you'd be surprised how many people believe it's illegal to do that. Well, it's my house. I'm paying the bills. I have a right, and so on. And so we do a lot of countermeasure sweeps in marital residences to see if that does actually exist. And you'd be surprised how many times we find them. And then just on surveillance, we've been doing this a long time. A lot of our investigators are former law enforcement. They can do surveillance without getting lost and trapped. And so video documentation is extremely good and very important in your situations. And I left a little gold thing on the tables there. It's actually an address book. I guarantee you there's no bugs in there. So if you want to use that as a backup to your Droid or your iPhone, you cannot delete that. And if you lose it, then you're out of luck. So good to see a lot of familiar faces here. Hope you have a great Christmas and great New Year, and next year can be very prosperous, and the legislature won't torpedo us. Thank you.